Preparations across the city ahead of tomorrow's handover anniversary. More violence in France as protests continue over shooting of teenager. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. Tomorrow marks Hong Kong's 26th handover anniversary. Security measures are in full swing too to prepare for the occasion tomorrow. Ahead of the celebratory events, a man has been arrested for alleged possession of imitation firearms and publication of seditious messages. Jacqueline reports.
Continuing the handover anniversary tradition, there will be a flag-raising ceremony at Golden Bohemia Square. A heavy police presence could be seen around the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre. Patrols too on the water. Under tight security, cars are banned from entering the vicinity of the Convention Centre. Bus routes are also affected, with a taxi stand near the Convention Avenue suspended until noon on Saturday. No rallies will be held tomorrow following the cancellation of a planned rally of cars. In view of the recent spate of knifing incidents and the knifing attack on an officer on July 1, 2021, it's understood police will step up patrols and stop and search around Causeway Bay and Victoria Park. Marine police will also be deployed to assist land operations. On Friday, the police arrested a 41-year-old man for alleged possession of offensive weapons. Among the haul of illicit weapons seized are 7 imitation guns, multiple folding knives, and daggers. It's understood the man also posted messages alluding to the protest slogan, "Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times." The force later found the cache of weapons at his Cheung Kwan O apartment.
The direction of our investigation is also focusing on the motives of the arrested person, why he kept such large amount of weapons in his residence.
Police are not ruling out the possibility the case is linked to the handover events. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Celebrations are already underway to mark the 26th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to Chinese rule. This morning, Chief Executive JUN spoke during the opening ceremony of a celebratory event at Victoria Park, saying the SAR is in a critical period of governance and prosperity. Mimosa Ngai reports.
Starting today, the Hong Kong Celebrations Association is holding a 3-day event at Victoria Park to mark July 1st, with the themes from governance to prosperity and a new voyage of one country, two systems. This also marks the 3rd year since the Hong Kong National Security Law took effect.
3年前的今天
Hong Kong is now turning a page from stability to prosperity, Chief Executive JUN Lee said at the opening ceremony. Under the double protection of the national security law and principles of patriots ruling Hong Kong, the society is getting more stable, with an improving economy and business environment. He said Hong Kong's attraction is only getting better. Deputy Head of the Central Government's Office for Safeguarding National Security in Hong Kong, Jiang Yanxiong, praised JUN Lee and the SAR government for performing their duties and bringing everyone together. Hong Kong is gradually walking out of the political storm, and the lovely city that we are familiar with is back, he added. The event has 3 sections and a costumes area where visitors can dress in traditional Chinese outfits. This man, who led a group of Siu Sai Wan residents to the park, said everyone was looking forward to the event.
Since tomorrow will be the 1st of July, and there will be a series of celebration events, they would like to come together and celebrate together. I feel very excited, and our citizens located in Siu Sai Wan feel very excited also.
On July 1st, there will also be a parade of 26 fishing boats at Victoria Harbour, organized by the association. Mimosa Ngai, TVB News.
Celebrating the first handover anniversary after the pandemic, discounts and special offers will be offered across the city from tomorrow, including the participation of nearly 1,500 restaurants. Free rides and museum visits, too, will be available. Jacqueline with details.
Marking the July 1st festivities, customers can pay at 71% of the listed price at some 1,450 eateries. Offering the 29% discount includes this tea house. Promotions for both its lunch and dinner menus. Some sets are $1,400 cheaper than usual. Its manager said it's fully booked for Saturday. Business is expected to be up by 10%. Meanwhile, residents can also book facilities under the Leisure and Cultural Services Department for one session free of charge. They include badminton, tennis, and basketball courts. But by Friday, most of these sports facilities were already fully booked. Free admission too at some exhibitions at Hong Kong Space Museum, Science Museum, and Heritage Museum. Same for the Palace Museum, but reservations will be needed. M+ Museum meanwhile requires no prior booking on July 1st. Expect free rides tomorrow too. They include free Star Ferry rides between Wan Chai and Tsim Sha Tsui and tram journeys. Children under the age of 12 can enjoy free bus trips with KMB and Longwen Bus too. The 29% discount applies to selected items at the Fish and Vegetable Marketing Organization as well. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
With tomorrow marking the one-year anniversary of John Lee's administration, the city's Innovation and Tech Chief noted that the SAR successfully attracted a large number of innovative enterprises to Hong Kong over the course of the year. He added that interest in business development and expansion in Hong Kong has grown significantly among overseas tech companies. Timothy Lee has more.
Over the past year, Hong Kong's Science Park and Cyberport have played a key role in expanding the city's goal of becoming an international tech hub. Over 700 enterprises have settled in the business parks, with over 10% of them coming from overseas. Authorities stress they will continue plans to expand the city's INT development in accordance with the Innovation and Technology Blueprint. The blueprints outline major directions including new industrialization and a focus on health tech and data science. Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry Sun Dong told TVB News that he believes a growing number of enterprises have shown interest in developing Hong Kong's innovation and technology sector.
I feel very busy in the past 1 year, extremely busy, but I feel very comfortable when I see the Hong Kong INT ecosystem has become more vibrant. We are working very hard. We are working very hard to attract top-notch or high-potential enterprises to come to Hong Kong to set up or expand their business in Hong Kong. So far, we have been in touch with more than 100 such companies, among which about 20 enterprises with strategic importance have decided or already came to Hong Kong.
One such enterprise is Supernormal, a Web3 brand based in South Korea. Andrew, the company's CEO, said Hong Kong's attraction lies in its clear regulatory guidelines for digital assets.
As technological revolution comes, there can be very, very difficult places to really address in terms of policies and guidelines. And to have a place that is really leading the industry in terms of setting this law and rules, it sets a good example and precedence for other countries. So in that regard, we're very happy that we're able to get support of Cyberport and Hong Kong in having some clarity with respect to our company vision and what we can do in the region.
Andrew emphasized that Hong Kong's regulatory frameworks on virtual assets could set a standard for similar policies of neighboring nations. This as the government aims to attract more overseas talent to the SAR in a bid to transform the city into a global innovation and tech hub. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Overseas, nearly 700 people were arrested in France as a third night of violence took hold as protests continue over the deadly shooting of a teenager by police. The policeman has apologized to the family, but the dead boy's mother blames the officer, who has been charged with voluntary homicide. David Garrett reports.
A third night of violent demonstrations. Fireworks crackle and explode in front of riot police lines. Behind them, a fire rages as cars are set ablaze. Hooded, mostly male youths rampage around the suburb of Nanterre, not far from where Nail M was killed by police. This night, the fires burned larger, with more streets targeted. 40,000 officers were drafted in nationwide to try to quell the violence. As officers fired tear gas canisters into the Paris night, hundreds were arrested across the nation. President Emmanuel Macron has recently dealt with protests over pension reforms, but this seems to go deeper, with those on the streets claiming France's institutions, like the police, are prejudiced. The 17-year-old was shot when he didn't stop his Mercedes at a police request. Tuesday's incident was caught on a mobile phone. The officer discharges his weapon, causing the driver to crash and die. Nail of Algerian and Moroccan descent was killed by a bullet through the chest. The officer has apologised. He's been charged with voluntary homicide. It is France's second fatal shooting at a traffic stop this year. Nail's mother, Mounia, led a mostly peaceful protest near the site of her son's death. She says the armed officer reacted differently when he saw an Arab face. Thousands filled the street of the poor neighbourhood where the shooting happened. But towards the culmination of the rally, some protesters clashed with police, a precursor of what was to follow. In Paris, a fire blazed at the construction site of the swimming pool for the 2024 Olympics. There were other incidents around the capital. A sportswear shop was ransacked by looters. Dozens smashed their way in. In the morning, employees came to work to find windows smashed, widespread damage and items stolen. Toulouse has seen a second night of fires and fighting. A tramway train was torched in a suburb of Lyon. Marseille, Lille and Bordeaux also saw violent protests. There's evidence the anger may have spread beyond French borders. Belgian police were called to disturbances in an area of Brussels where scuffles broke out. David Garrett, TVB News.
In the US, the Pentagon confirmed a Chinese balloon that flew over America early this year, which its Air Force shot down, did not collect information as it made its way across the country. Beijing slammed the US for smearing China throughout the saga.
Before the Pentagon's admission, Washington had always accused the object that flew over the U.S. in February this year was a Chinese spy balloon collecting sensitive information about the military. On Thursday, the Pentagon backtracked.
We were aware that it had intelligence collection capabilities, but it has been our assessment now that it did not collect while it was transiting the United States or overflying the United States. And as we said at the time, we also took steps to mitigate the potential collection efforts of that balloon.
With reports saying the balloon was equipped with American-made surveillance gear, Ryder only said there's nothing strange about such equipment being used in devices such as drones. Earlier, the U.S. Wall Street Journal reported that the balloon was loaded with U.S.-made equipment available on the market and online in combination with Chinese sensors. That's after the U.S. military shot down the balloon and examined the debris. The devices were hanging below the balloon, which had a propeller suitable for long-distance travel. In Beijing, the Foreign Ministry commented on the issue.
China has made clear that the civilian unmanned airship flying into U.S. is an isolated and unexpected incident caused by force majeure. The so-called spy balloon is totally smearing and attacking against China.
Beijing earlier said it is firmly against the political manipulation and hype over the case.
Still ahead on tonight's news, Joe Biden disagrees with U.S. Supreme Court ruling over race-related issues. Fans say farewell to a local bus company. The British government will challenge a court ruling that said sending asylum seekers to Rwanda is unlawful. In a split ruling, the Court of Appeal said Rwanda could not be considered a safe third country. The government argues its policy will smash the criminal gangs that ferry migrants recklessly across the English Channel. Matthew Bray reports.
Under a deal struck last year, the UK government planned to send tens of thousands of migrants who arrived illegally to Rwanda. The first planned deportation flight was blocked a year ago in a last-minute ruling by the European Court of Human Rights. In December, the High Court ruled the policy was lawful, but that was challenged by asylum seekers along with human rights organisations. The Court of Appeal now ruled differently again.
There is a real risk that persons sent to Rwanda will be returned to their home countries where they faced persecution or other inhumane treatment when, in fact, they have a good claim for asylum. In that sense, Rwanda is not a safe third country.
Burnett himself disagreed with the other two judges. The ruling is a blow to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who has made stopping the issue one of his main priorities. Home Secretary Suella Braverman defended the policy after the ruling.
The decision today, as I've said, is disappointing. We respectfully disagree with the court judgment. Well, the system is rigged against the British people. It's as simple as that. That's why we're changing the laws through our illegal migration bill. That's why we are rolling out a groundbreaking partnership with Rwanda, which we believe is lawful, with a country that we believe is safe. So we need to change the system.
Over 45,000 people arrived in England in 2022 on small boats, mainly from France. 11,000 have made it so far this year. Critics say the scheme should be scrapped. Rwanda itself took exception to the conclusions of the court, saying it was a safe country, recognised for its treatment of refugees by the United Nations. An appeal to the Supreme Court is expected by early July. Matthew Bray, TVB News.
The US Supreme Court sent shockwaves throughout the country's higher education when it prohibited American universities from considering the race of an applicant in its admission process. This left colleges around the nation searching for new ways to promote student diversity. Tracy Fannis has more.
In a landmark ruling, the US Supreme Court struck down race-conscious student admissions programs at Harvard University and the University of North Carolina. It's a sharp setback to affirmative action policies, often used to increase the number of Black, Hispanic and other minority groups on campuses.
The court has effectively ended affirmative action in college admissions, and I strongly disagree with the court's decision. I've always believed that the promise of America is big enough for everyone to succeed, and that every generation of Americans, we have benefited by opening the doors of opportunity just a little bit wider to include those who've been left behind.
Chief Justice Roberts said that for too long, universities have concluded wrongly that the touchstone of an individual's identity is not challenges bested, skills built, or lessons learnt, but the colour of their skin. Our Constitution history does not tolerate that choice.
These opinions re-establish the founding principles of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which clearly forbids treating Americans differently by race.
Some students at Harvard were more sympathetic to the students affected by the ruling.
I'm from Wareham, Massachusetts, and it's like a small town. Schools with like underfunded high schools and stuff tend to have more students that happen to be minorities, and I think that those students deserve to have a chance at getting into a school like Harvard by having their race be considered in the application process.
I know there's going to be a lot of people arguing that no, it's not racist, it's fair, there's nothing fair about it. I'm mad and speechless is mainly my reaction.
Thursday's decision will force many colleges and universities to overhaul their admissions policies. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Back locally, it will be a clean slate for bus operators New World First Bus and City Bus on July 1st. The two companies will officially merge tomorrow, so today was the last chance to hop on a New World First service. Routes will remain unchanged. As scheduled, the last bus operated by New World First Bus is this 9706 route from Cheung Sha Wan to Aberdeen. Some fans came as early as 6 a.m. to witness the bus become history. New World First Bus has served the city for a quarter of the century. Starting tomorrow, City Bus will be in charge of all the routes. The government is seeking to draft laws to regulate the use of single-use plastic tableware, including gloves. It's likely to ban the free distribution but not the sale of such items. People often use single-use plastic tableware during meals, for instance, when they have fried chicken. With the government proposing to amend the Product Eco-Responsibility Ordinance, some lawmakers believe authorities should find a balance between three aspects: hygiene, environment, and convenience. And that's the news. Have a nice weekend.